murder. Yeah, yeah.
Up everyone, shake the stress that's killing you. Fancy footwork just like me, taking over this dance floor. Throw your hands up everyone, shake the stress that's killing you. Fancy footwork just like me, taking over this dance floor.
Coming up on Mental Health Marty, the health and wellness of the Black man. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Yes, it's me. I'm back. It's your host, Martinez Sellers. And this week, we are live. I missed you guys last week, but you know what? It was my birthday. I appreciate all the mad love for you guys celebrating with me on my birthday, which I think should be a national holiday, October 11th. Yes, and we were rocking 56, y'all. Can you believe it was number 56 for me? But I am grateful to be alive, and I'm so grateful to be here with you live and in living color in Southern California. Y'all know what we say, where the sun is always shining. Y'all, it was about 85 degrees out here. Ronnie, how are you? Yes, it was about 85 degrees. And it was a beautiful day, nothing like a wonderful Southern California weather in the fall. It was brilliant. It was beautiful. And listen, we are so glad that you are here. Listen, call someone. I keep saying listen tonight, y'all. Give someone a call. Let them know to tune into the show tonight, because we have a show for you tonight. Let me know that you're listening and where you're listening from, because y'all know how we do it. Roll call, roll call, roll call. And shout out to y'all who've been rocking with me. Y'all, like I said a couple episodes ago, I've been doing this for about almost 8 years now, and just grateful about what our platform is all about, is changing the stigma and eliminating the stinking thinking as it pertains to mental health in our Black and brown communities, specifically for the Black man. And as a Black male therapist, I represent 1%, again, 1% of the field. And so that's why it's so difficult to find therapists who look like us, who have those experiences like us. And that's why I do this show. So I pray that it's been blessing you. But let me share again, what is the philosophy and purpose of this show and why we do what we do. Let me put on my radio voice announcement voice now. The Mental Health Marty Show is intended for educational purposes and psychoeducational purposes only. We are not a substitute for you seeing your therapist. We are not a substitute for you seeing your life coach, your pastor, your psychiatrist, your psychologist, your medical doctor, or any support team that helps you manage your health and wellness. However, we are a supplement to your overall health and wellness plan. Now, if you're experiencing any type of psychiatric or medical emergency, we definitely want you to go to your nearest urgent care, dial 911, or call the new mental health helpline at 988 for further assistance. There we go. I didn't blow it this time, Daryl. Hey! Yes, again. Now, how do you engage with us? Listen, we appreciate all the efforts and everything that you're on Facebook. We love you on Facebook. However, if you're going to comment and we want to respond to your comments because we love having an interactive audience with us, you need to go over to the Mental Health Marty YouTube page. It is free. Mental Health Marty YouTube. Find me on there. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button so that you know every time we come on, you'll get a ding just like that to keep you updated on every show that we have. And thank you for being faithful followers of the show. Yes, Miss Tanya, yes, I appreciate you, darling. Good to see you as always. Listen, Tanya's definitely, Miss Hill got to get the award with those who are following us as always. She's faithful. Jeff, hope you're doing well out there in the DMV, my brother. Much love. I'm supposed to be out that way in December doing a men's conference in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Yes, Ronnie, I appreciate you all the way from New York, NYC. Yes, yes, yes. Hey there. Yes, how are you, Miss Jazz? We love you, darling. Good to see everyone. I'm so excited about tonight's topic. Because tonight's topic, we're talking about Black men's health and wellness and talking about the balance between our physical health, emotional health, and psychological health. There is this continual balancing game and balancing act that we're always trying to follow and that we're always trying to keep intact. I don't know about you, but there have been definitely times when I have struggled keeping my emotional and psychological well-being because of circumstances that might have happened in my life, whether it be out on the job, whether it be with my finances, because you mess with my finances, I promise you, it takes everything for me to keep my mental capacity all in shape. When you mess with our family or things are happening in our family, in our relationships, in friendships. So tonight I want to definitely talk to our guest panelists on tonight, and they're definitely not, one is not a guest. He's a reoccurring guest on here that we are so glad to have him all the way from North Kakalaki, but he is definitely one of our resident returning guests on here. We love him. We love the insight that this brother brings. He's a family man, none other, coming back to us, none other than Dr. Chris Williams. Dr. Chris, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? How's it going? There we go.
Man,
I feel like
we're
I'm
doing
eating.
all right. I know it's hard kind of say, how do I say balance? And you guys go the opposite of the camera.
I know, right?
Right. Man, you're looking good. How's everything going out there for you, man?
It's going well. It's going well. Just staying busy, having a lot of different projects that I get to enjoy working on, and so it's a good feeling to be able to do things that you enjoy doing, and you feel like that are helping people and helping you grow and helping you evolve as a person. So loving it.
Good. I love what you said because I think there's a difference between having a job and finding a career in life. And I love what you said. You said, get to do what you love doing, because when you do things that you love doing, I love being a therapist. I love owning my own business. I love working with people and helping them achieve the best of who they are. Talk to me about that, what that does for you, because, and for those who may not know you, tell us again who you are, what you do, and that you get this enjoyment of doing every day the things that you're passionate about.
Well, I am Dr. Christopher Williams, aka Dr. Chris. I am a physical therapist by training. And I'm also a certified health coach. I specialize in helping men who are full of rage. I help them to find peace so they can begin to stop sabotaging the valuable relationships in their lives and begin to start enjoying life again. So I get to do that. I also, a couple years back, started DJing on the side. I'm a jack of all trades. I found that I always tell youngsters, because I'm at 42. Happy belated birthday, by the way, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Brother Brock, what's going on, man? Robert,
you know,
yes.
Don't let anybody put you in a box. We are blessed with so many gifts and powers that we get the opportunity to be able to use them all. And so that's where in this chapter of my life, like, that's what I'm doing. Like, what I enjoy doing, even if I'm not that good at it, like, I'm passionate about it. And so you become good at it because you just, if I were a billionaire, I would still do this stuff. I would still talk to men about how to handle their emotions. I would still listen to music. I would still help people. I'm a functional movement coach where I help people really learn how to move and use their body more efficiently. I enjoy physical therapy on the rehab end, but I really enjoy being on the preventative end now and start to.
That's good.
Yeah. It's
talk to us
it's
about
amazing.
Why that preventative medicine, preventative practices, and I love that with the functional moving coach. Why is preventative work so imperative, especially when it pertains to our mental health? Because I think, Dr. Chris, what a lot of us don't realize is the connection, the correlation between physical health and mental health, and because your physical ailments can impede and speed up depression. It can speed up anxiety. It can trigger PTSD. But so why is that so imperative that we learn how to take care of these things, this body that we have?
That's a great question. It's super important because, like you said, it's all connected. I don't know how we got to this place where we thought that, well, if my medical health is okay, then everything else is good. And what I tell people is health is now this wheel. You have your medical health, you have your mental health, your emotional health. And when it comes to the functional movement coaching and physical therapy, I think not enough people are on the forefront talking about your movement health. And it is so important. It makes sense that people who typically move better also tend to move more often. They tend to have better medical health. They tend to have better emotional health. There's the ripple effect that touches all the different aspects of our lives. And so what I really enjoy about it is, coming out of school, you work with a lot of, I enjoyed working with a lot of older adults and got to soak in a lot of pearls and gems that they would drop. And then there would be so many people that I'm looking at them and I'm like, gosh, I wish I would have gotten to them 5 years ago, 10 years ago. That sort of thing. And nobody plans for this. And so at 42 now when I exercise and I move my body, I'm not trying to necessarily run faster, jump higher, bench more, squat more. That's good. Now my goal now is to, I still want to be able to put my pants on by myself at 80. I still want to be able to jump rope. I still want to be able to go hiking. Exactly. I'm now training for my functional independence later on. And they say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. And so that's what and you know what I say, Dr. Chris, I said it this way too, especially because we already know that the life expectancy of Black men is anywhere from 7 to 10 years less than their white counterparts. Let me say that again for those. We know that the life expectancy of the Black man is anywhere from 7 to 10 years less than their white, and even 5 or so years less than their Hispanic counterparts. And part of that, what we can do to help lessen that gap
is being physically active and doing little things. It's not, and I agree with you. Listen, at 56, listen, the mind gets up, but the body doesn't always move as quickly.
That's right. That's right.
Right. So, but it's imperative that what's the law of physics? An object in motion stays in motion or something. Yeah.
Yep.
That part. And so it's
there
very important that we keep these bodies in motion, because as the bodies are in motion, the blood is flowing. As the blood is flowing, we're getting oxygen to our brain. Now I can think more clearly. Because some of the best times that I've come to some epiphanies in my life is when I've been moving. When I used to run, I used to run track. When you know how we say back in the day, back then, I was a hurdler. And,
I was going to say, what was your event?
I did high hurdles. I did 300 hurdles, the 100, the 200, the mile relay, which I hated, the 440. I hated the mile relay. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But those were the best times I process things, and even now I process best when I'm walking. One of my supervisors was laughing at me last week because she said, "Marty, you were in the parking lot just walking and talking to," because we were planning a family intervention, and I was hot, and so I needed to process and just walk and make sure that we are doing that. Yes, move your body. My daily goal is 10,000. Come on.
That's great.
Sister Tanya, that's right. 10,000 steps a day. Yes, I want to bring in our next guest with us in here, Dr. Chris, because you're going to love him. This brother I saw on IG, and Dr. Chris, I loved his message, how he spoke directly to Black men. And I love that as he was speaking to Black men, he kept us grounded. He kept me grounded. There were some days that I needed his message, the days that he wrote it, because he reminded me of doing little things, walking in the grass with no shoes on, feeling and getting ground, feeling the coolness of the grass and allowing that to calm. Because I love what you said, being a health coach and a anger management and rage coach manager, because a lot of times we as Black men, and we'll get into this, that anger and rage is often, from a therapeutic point of view, a substitute and one of the symptoms of depression and anxiety.
Yes.
And learning how to manage that. So I'm so glad to have with him for the very first time on the show. But Dr. Chris, like you, I know he ain't going to be the last time on here. And I'm glad that he's able to. I got all these doctors joining us tonight. None other than from the ATL, none other than my brother, now Dr. Curtis Jasper. Yes. Doc, what's going on, man?
All right.
We got you.
All right. Yeah, I'm good.
There you go.
What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Man, we are so excited about having you. And Doc, I have to, grounding is so key. Jeff, you're right. You're absolutely right. And shout out to my brother Jeff here. And I think he's prime example. And I know he doesn't mind. He's been on the show. And Dr. Jasper, we're going to get into you. And I love it because Jeff is a stroke survivor. That he had a stroke before he was 50. And as we know, especially with Black men, 80% of strokes are preventable. 80%. But we as Black men, we fail to listen to our bodies. We fail to look at the triggers. We fail to, and I love Dr. Curtis, what you were saying, staying grounded and those type of things. So, man, listen, if no one else tells you, thank you for those reels that you drop on IG. The first time I saw it, I'm like, I gotta follow this brother and reaching out, because it was so life changing. So, Dr. Curtis, this is your first time on the show. Tell us who you are, what you do, and what gives you this passion for helping Black men.
So thank you, Marty. I appreciate it. You know, it was funny because when you were talking about the guest, I was like, man, is there a third guest on there? I forgot you was talking about me, man. So thank you. I didn't know it was gonna be 3 guests on here. So thank you, brother Marty, Dr. Chris. I appreciate you both. Anytime a Black man in particular reaches out to me and my schedule allows, I make it a priority to connect, even if it doesn't manifest. That's just my commitment to myself and brothers who look like me. So thank you both for being here, and thank you for having me. I'm Dr. Curt, Curtis Dominic Jasper, born and raised in Chicago, been in Atlanta 22 years.
Come on, Chi-Town.
Yeah, man. I'm mostly a psychoeducator. My first career was in education. I left public school education as a middle school principal, and then I stumbled into mental health as a result of going through some challenges myself. Right? Okay. I was a patient. One of my therapists prescribed that I become a mental health practitioner in a session.
Wow.
Right. And so I won't take up time about it.
My story, got time.
I got a TED Talk out there that pretty much goes into detail about my story. To make a long story short, I am fortunate enough to have gone through some things in my life, somewhere around 39. I'm 51 now. So between around 38 to about 48, life was interesting for me. I went through a number of things, an eventful divorce. I lost my parents. The economy crashed. I took a hit. I had to sit in jail for a couple months. I had anxiety and panic attacks. I lost quite a few relationships. So I've done that. But I'm grateful now to be able to stand in a healing, safe space for brothers who reach out to me absolutely every single day. Not only do I have the clinical and counseling and psychological experience and expertise, I actually have a human in Black male form experience to share spaces with them. And I don't take it lightly, man. In a nutshell, that's me, man. Yeah.
That's so powerful. And I love it because a lot of times, and thank you for sharing that, because I didn't even know that. And what happens is I think we as Black men often find ourselves in those situations and not know how to say, I need help, or find safe spaces for us to talk to each other as Black men. Because, I'm of this thought process, y'all, and please correct me, that my theory is that we are allowed to have 4 types of personalities as Black men. We can be the angry Black man, which they expect us to be. We can be the over-sexualized Black man, again, what they expect us to be. We can be the entertaining Black man, whether it's on the sports side or in the music and rap and that type of side, what they expect us to be, or we can be the buffoon. But we can never be the educated Black man. We can never be the Black man who's going through trouble and trauma, who needs support. And so to see, and thank you, that's how I backdoored my way into becoming a therapist as well, as a being a UC Berkeley student. When I kept saying that's not happening in my community, when the professor said I wrote the book, I got out. And like you, Dr. Curtis, when I was going through my own divorce, I knew, I said I could either see a therapist or become a therapist. And in becoming a therapist, I start seeing a therapist.
For sure.
Yes. And that's okay. And thank you for sharing that, because oftentimes I believe, and Dr. Chris, I'm going to punt over to you with that, and both of you with a response to that oftentimes when we're in our situations and feel like there's no hope for us to get out of that situation, that's when we implode and then explode. And then we go into the woe is me. And so then we start to feed into the self-sabotage type of mentality. Dr. Chris, and then I'm going to punt over to Dr. Curtis. What's your thought about that? Especially when we talk about, let's go into the depressed Black man and not having that balance, the physical balance and the mental health balance, what that looks like, and how do we bounce out of that?
Oh, absolutely. It's a real thing. Yeah, I enjoyed Dr. Curtis, you sharing your story, and Marty, same thing. We joke in PT school. Usually, most physical therapists had some kind of physical therapy experience that inspired them to become a physical therapist. Well, it's the same thing for me. I went through a period where I was not handling my emotions very well. I was lashing out. I was angry. I was the angry black man. And I liked how you touched on it earlier. It was really more so depression because I didn't like what I was doing, and it was, I would tell my wife, I'm like, babe, don't tell people that I'm a physical therapist, because it would never fail. We could be at a party and, oh, what do you do? I'm a physical therapist. Oh, well, I got this going on with my back and this, that, and the third. What do you think about it? And I'm like, I'm at a party. I'm trying to unwind. I'm trying to get it in.
Try being a therapist at a party.
Right.
Are you analyzing me?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to tell you nicely to move out the way so I can get me another beer. That's what I'm trying to tell you to
do. Exactly.
And so, what it boiled down to is that I really wasn't happy with where my career was going. And a lot of times it was connected to this whole, you mentioned the person that had a stroke. I would look at people. I'm like, I'm just not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not using my powers the way I'm supposed to. That's good. That's where being able to get on the preventative side was key for me. However, you feel so many people, you do this, that must be so fulfilling. And I felt like I had to lie each time. I couldn't be authentic. I couldn't say, no, I really don't enjoy this a lot of the times. And so then you just start really retreating to yourself. You don't talk about it. When you come home, the wife's like, how was work? And you're like, oh, that's the last thing I really want to talk about. I almost felt like, I don't know what it's like to be a soldier coming home from war, but you wouldn't say, well, so how was it out there on the battlefield? Like, this is like the last thing that I want to talk about. And people don't get it. And I wasn't helping the situation either because I wasn't expressing myself. And sometimes you're just too tired. You don't have the words. You don't even know what's going on. And just the slightest things set you off. And it's like, who is this person? How did I get here? This is not what I signed up for. So it's definitely a thing. And it's definitely inspired me to. That's why I really love doing what I do now, because it's how should I say? It's what are the words? It feels really good to know that it's not just me, and I know that other people struggle. And if other people are struggling, then gosh, if I can help them, then maybe they can help somebody else, and then maybe we can start getting this momentum snowball going and really start making some impact. Some positive impact on the world.
Yes, that's good. That's good. And let me remind you, if you have questions for Dr. Chris or Dr. Curtis, please put it in the chat there and on YouTube on mental health, because on the YouTube channel, because we want to make sure that we're here for if you have any questions. For you have some great black men who have proven themselves on here. So Dr. Curtis, I love what you were saying, and talk to me, and if you don't mind even sharing your journey and how that was for you, because I think a lot of times people see and we look at you and you don't look like what you've been through. So I would not even have even known that. And how do we help those men to get past their past, get past maybe even their present, to get on the other side, what I like to call the other side of through?
Sure. And I think you just said it, Marty. We have to encourage them that the journey is through. There's not around. There's not above. You must go through it. It's not a matter of when. It's mostly how and to what degree. And so for me, two things I noticed working with hundreds of black men and serving black men for the last 10 years is first, they hadn't been heard. Right? 99% of the men whom I interact with, they just hadn't been heard. And what I mean by heard, I mean active, present listening. They haven't been heard to the degree that things naturally flow out of them that they were even unaware of. And the reason
That's
is
good.
a number of things, right? Like as Black men, people approach us as always something to do and somewhere to go. So even when our loved ones are listening to us, they are actually listening to us
Right.
from a fix-it standpoint. They ready to
Yeah.
respond with a solution. We just want to get it out. And so
Yes.
brothers tell me most 100%. I know I'm all over the place, Doc, and I'm like, I'm with you. Keep going, and
Yes.
just keep go. They rock out for 60 minutes, and they take the whole session, and then they was like, man, did I take the whole session? I say, yeah, you good. I'll leave your voicemail, send your email, text, DM. I get my notes over to you. Don't worry about me. And just to be able to get it out. That's the first thing. The second thing I know from my experience, both professionally and personally, is that the average man hasn't experienced that he is not alone. Period. As unique as we think our situations is, look, I tell brothers, I'm a professional secret keeper. I done heard it all. I can assure you that you are not
professional secret keeper. Yes.
You are not alone, brother. There is a cadre of brothers who are fighting the good fight. So know that you are not alone, right? Which for us is the underbelly of trauma, right? It's not so much the things which has happened to us. It's the feeling of being alone when they happen.
Yep. Okay, I don't want you to skirt past that because you're absolutely right when you say the underbelly of trauma. Flesh that out some more so that we understand a lot of times the trauma response and why we are doing this, the work that we do. Says, guys, you are only human. Keep up the good work. Ronnie, thank you. You're right. We are only human. And a lot of times, but is the Black man seen as a human? Or are we seen as a machine? Are we seen as taskmasters in so many things, or problem bearers, if I can say that? But talk to us again about the underbelly of trauma. That was good. That's good.
Very good.
Yeah. I mean, we are resilient, right? As the original people. Let's be clear. We are naturally hardwired for a certain amount of efforting, right? Not struggle, efforting. That's different, right?
Yes.
So when I mention like it's not so much the things we go through, it's the feeling of alone, like nobody gets it. I'm the only one, no one cares, right? Now let me give you a drastic example. I grew up in the hood of Chicago. If we all got jumped on, if we all got robbed, if more than one neighbor's house burned down on the block, it was pretty traumatic, but we weren't alone. Right? We weren't alone.
Right.
When I was with my boys and we was hanging out, when we got locked up, it was pretty dramatic when our heads were slammed on the top of the police car. But we weren't alone, right?
Right.
And it was that camaraderie that actually got us through the trauma. So we didn't have to go through not only the traumatic reaction, not response, but reaction, but our development progressed in the interim.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so that's the lasting imprint.
That's so powerful. Dr. Chris, when you're hearing these type of things, especially when we're talking about, and I love because you talked about how you are this a health coach, and one of the things that you work on, because can we talk about the angry Black man? And a lot of times we fail to realize anger is an emotion for a reason. And oftentimes, not being heard, a lot of times we don't know how to hear and read through the pain and the depression and the trauma of anger. Talk to us about that some, Dr. Chris.
So, first of all, Dr. Curtis, I loved all of that. That was
right.
That was dope. That was super dope. Oh man. The anger part, what I say, anger is really I tell people it's like the result of either frustration, hurt, or fear. And somehow, I don't know where we got it, like we're not allowed to talk about those things. We're not, it's easy. I don't know why it's more acceptable for us to say we're angry, I'm mad, than to say, you know what, I'm really scared. I'm scared. I lost my job,
that's good.
and
That's
I
good.
don't know how
How
we're
I'm gonna
going to
pay
do it.
rent.
I don't know how we're going to
Yes.
do it. And I feel
Yes.
inadequate because I'm worried that, I'm feeling vulnerable and you might look at me funny, or people might look at me funny and say he ain't no real man and this, that, and the third. And how do I
Mm-hmm.
deal with that? How do you speak
Mm-hmm.
on that? And so you bottle all of that up inside, and then it's like it gets to fester and grow in the dark. And it's like that toxic shame that comes along
Yes,
with
that's
it.
good.
It's there. You're trying to ignore it, but then it energy's neither created nor destroyed. It's just transferred from one party to another. So all of a sudden something happens and it triggers that. And then next thing you know, you're flipping out over somebody eating the rest of the Doritos. And it ain't about the
Right.
Doritos. It's about
No.
you being hurt. It's about you, man. I really didn't like what you said to me the other day. I was hurt. You hurt me, brother. You hurt me. Man, depending on where you from, you're gonna be like, man, this dude sound like a punk, like this, that, and the thing. And it's
That
like,
part.
nah,
Yes.
that's a real man right there. You hurt me. And so, and I have to be able to say that to you, or I'm scared, or I'm just really frustrated. Things I did with my situation, I went through PT school and all of this school, and I got all these student loans, and I'm still not
Right. Right.
happy with what I'm doing. Like, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated as hell because I thought
Right.
I would, walk across the stage and get that job and then happily ever after. And it didn't work out like
Yeah.
that. And so,
Right.
I think all of that falls under that anger, that angry umbrella. And we all have different perspectives, but they kind of lead to the same road. They lead to the same destination at the end of the day. So,
Dr. Curtis, I'm going to punt this question over to you. Jonathan, so good to see you, my brother. Thank you for always tuning in. Jonathan asked this question: how do I approach my therapist when it appears that I'm not making the progress that I would like to make? Should I seek other therapists or therapies or therapists? Dr. Curtis, what's your recommendation about that? Because I love that. Great question.
So the short answer is ultimately yes. The long answer is what I'm surprised to not hear that's built in, Mr. Davis, is that progress is not discussed as an ongoing basis, right? Every
Yes.
session
Yes.
should include how's the progress going, right? Your practitioner, your therapist should ask you, like, how you think it's going? Like, is it progress? Sort of as a self check-in, right? I ask my
Yes.
clients, I ask all of my clients every session, how you think it's going? Any comments,
That's
suggestions, questions?
good.
So the progress, by the time we look to make a move, that's because the practitioner who is responsible for that should have had some systems in place to sort of spot check that, right? When that doesn't happen, as anybody, we outgrow. So sometimes when you're not making progress, it's just time to put some fresh eyes and ears and a fresh voice in the situation. That's with anything. That's why we go from fifth grade to
That's
sixth
good.
grade, right? That's why we go from
That's
junior
right.
high to
Right.
middle school, right? So much so that you had to exercise your right for expediting your personal development, right? You may have just capped off with the practitioner that you're with. So those are some general responses. I hope that helped, Brother Jonathan. That just shows up for me as I read your question on the bottom of the screen.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And I would agree definitely with you. And I think, Jonathan, and even knowing that what you do for a living and these type of things, I was sharing with a black colleague of mine, black male colleague, who's an executive in a major Fortune 500 company. He goes, Marty, I'm looking for a therapist. What do you recommend? I said, because of the caliber of person you are, I strongly encouraged him to look for a PsyD in that regards, and getting someone who had the acumens and the level that he was looking for. And I'm an MFT, so not saying, you know, I got age on my side on this, you know, but a lot of times you will have to interview those therapists and making sure that they're hitting the caliber, because just like a doctor or anything else, you know, Dr. Chris, he's seasoned. I trust what he's going to say. Now you get me this young kid who's at 56, gets this young kid who's 22. I'm like, Doc, now you're gonna have to come a little stronger, because I'm gonna be able to run right over you. I got children older than you. Sure. But I think it's really also knowing what kind of therapy you're looking for, and I love it. And you remind me, are we reviewing the treatment plan? Do you know what the treatment plan is? Because I'm sure, Dr. Chris, you're telling them what the treatment plan is, and you're making judgment on their progress. By the same token, in our mental health spaces, and I love what you're saying, Dr. Curtis, we have to make sure that we're understanding the progress of where we're at too. Excellent question. Says, I'm searching for a new therapist now. Keep going. Jeff, I think I got a couple out in that DMV area. Dr. Curtis, you got any therapists out in that DMV area? We can definitely DM to Jeff later on.
Tell Jeff to hit me up directly and let's talk about it.
Okay. Now y'all down in the ATL, y'all got a nice little network. Now I'm mad because when I was there last, y'all were just about to meet right after I left with the. Are you part of that Black Male Therapist Network that you guys meet up with in Atlanta with Dr. Sutherland and there's quite a few y'all down in the ATL keeping it strong down there.
No, I haven't. I'm not a part of it.
I'll have to get you connected with Dr. Sutherland. Okay. Cool cat down there, another PsyD down there who's doing some great things as well. Thank you so much, and it does help. I do an assessment, but it doesn't capture the points that you've made just now. Excellent, Jonathan. Glad to hear that. But definitely anything that we can do, please feel free to DM and look at me just throwing Dr. Curtis's DM Dr. Curtis. You can definitely DM myself. Whatever. Let's talk. You know, Dr. Curtis. I would love to. You have these amazing reels that you do. That's reminding Black men to ground themselves or to do things to take care of themselves. Talk to us about how did that come about for you? When I discovered it, I'm going to tell you, I needed it right then and there. I was like, this brother is talking to me because I'm about to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs here in a minute. And you reminded me to get grounded. Thank you. How did you come up with that? And the passion that you do with that is just amazing. Talk to us about that and why that's becoming what I think is one of your major passions that you do.
Appreciate that, Marty. So, you know, as a practitioner and a researcher, you know, it's my professional obligation to seek out different modalities, but I also lead by example, right? It's rare that I would prescribe something of that nature to a client, particularly a Black man, without having done it myself, right? So I lead by example by living out loud on social media for the intent of inspiring brothers, right? And not to throw something out for every brother, but just for the ones who are naturally resonating with it. One of the things that I definitely prescribe to every brother, young and old, he could be 12, he could be 7, you got to work out. If you want to rock with me in session, my number one prescription, your ass got to go to the gym or something.
I love it.
Because as Dr. Chris understands, right, there is a serious physical and mental connection. Trauma is stored in the body. Right? Yep. It is confused. It is burdened up here, but it resides in the body. So if you are not able to move the body, as Dr. Chris said, come on, man, I ain't zooming with you. You're not about to lay out in my office, bro. You got to be moving, as you said, Marty. So number one thing, when the last time you work out, how much sleep you getting, what you eating, bro. Then we can start from a baseline. So, brothers, I tell you, walk in the grass, and we ain't worried about how it looks. Take them shoes off. Don't worry about your toes, and walk in that grass like you, right? And look, if you could post if you could post out at the golf range, if you could post out at the cigar lounge, you could post at the gym.
Yes. Yes.
I ain't judging you, bro, but get to the gym. Get to the gym and move that body. So I started with different things like that, like reading, praying, meditating, drinking tea, stuff that is traditionally used for different cultures and different gender and sex. I'm like, bro, nah, I've been there, done that on every level. I'm drinking tea and walking in the backyard with no shoes on. And I'm still with it. I love it.
Yes, so, exactly.
I'm still with it. Right? So,
Dr. Curtis, I love that because we have to reframe and rethink about what oftentimes we have this negative toxicity when it comes to black men and what it means to be a black man. But you're like, listen, dog, get your ass in the gym. Number 2, take them funky shoes off and allow your toes just to get in there and grip some of this ground, the grass or whatever. Yes. Drink you some tea. Yeah, yeah.
Beers are cool. Relax. I get some beers. Do some tea though. I get it.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
The balance.
That's Chris.
It's the balance. No, it's all. It's you have to experience it all. And I think I like what you said. As far as like leading by example. I became a fan of Bruce Lee later on in my life, but his martial arts was really just a physical manifestation of his philosophy. He was a philosophy major. Right. And one of the big things that he talks about was you gotta get moving. You gotta get moving. And so it's something magical about it that you get your blood flow going. And I think that's where it kind of puts you in that connection with the vibes and it helps get you in the zone. Marty, I loved what you said earlier. Some of your best ideas come to you when you're moving. And so in the morning, I'll sit there, I'll bring my phone, I have my headphones, and I'm listening to satellite radio. I'm getting ideas for different mixes, for DJ mixes I can do. And it's just like, it's like this, it just all these, it's like this stream of ideas just start coming to you. And you're like, oh man. And you're like, man, especially when I found myself feeling like I've been in a funk for a while and be like, when was the last time you got up and moved your body, Chris? Well, dang, no wonder. You're like, man, get your ass up there and start moving. Get a sweat going. Get that music pumping. And then it feels so good that you don't care what anybody else is thinking. Like, look at how they're feeling. I'm feeling great right now. And that's what it's about. And it doesn't cost you. It doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to go do that. So,
mind over mood and getting our mind over that and saying, listen, although I don't feel like getting up, I know I need to get up if I'm going to feel better, if I'm going to make any type of progress. I would say like this, even to Dr. Curtis, and especially when you talk about a coach in life, we didn't feel like going to practice. We didn't feel like going to, everybody wants to play the game. But what have you done to get ready for the game? Do we have, everybody wants to be the Black Mamba, but do we have the discipline that the Black Mamba had before the game, during the game, after the game, all of that? And not, he didn't just show up. He did the pre-work. He did the post-work afterwards as well. And that's what I hear us saying today. It's necessary that we as Black men do the pre and post-work when it comes to our mental and physical health and well-being.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, I got a little thing I want to do. We got about a little less than 10 minutes to go. I want to go over this when we talk about emotional wellness tips for the Black man. And I want to get both of your opinion on it. I got 6 quick tips tonight. Okay, the first one is this. We as Black men have to learn how to practice positivity. Dr. Curtis, talk to me about that, because brother, I love this positivity that you keep exuding from me, because you're like, I got this. I want to feel the grass. I want to drink some tea. What is all the of definitely practicing positivity?
It's actually a practice, right? We are It's a natural response to well-being. We're so busy inundating ourselves with reacting to different stimuli, right? Your natural well-being is positivity, right? And you know that if you have children, you know that if you're around young people, right? So turn it into a practice, just like any brother who has played any type of sports, right? Your healing is a practice. So much so, if you're not deliberately intending on practicing positivity, whether it's in the form of grounding or being grateful, praying, meditating, or working out, you are in fact self-sabotaging. Ain't no in between for brothers.
Wow.
Right? Ain't no in between, right? You can't be in neutral. Stuff is going on. World's moving too fast.
Right.
If you're not deliberately on some type of healing, self-care practice, you are by default self-sabotage.
That's good. That's good. Dr. Chris, talk to me about practicing positivity.
Practicing positivity, you know, to add to that, it's also being mindful about your thoughts. I think a lot of times if you just actually really kind of sat back and took account of your thoughts, are they positive? Are they negative? And you might find that it's really easy to be negative. It's real easy to talk badly about somebody. And so one of the big things I'll add is be mindful about the words that you use. Be mindful about what you're fueling your brain, your body with. You know, what kind of a quick example, it was Love and Hip Hop. This was I used to watch it and trash TV and love the drama, but I would find myself getting angry, and I'm like, I gotta let it go. I gotta let it go. And so you have to really kind of take account of the type of music you listen to, the type of books you're reading, the type of people you're around, you know, all the type of messages that because that energy is coming in, and you're gonna hold that and try to spit that back out. So make sure if you're letting that energy in, let it be that positive energy, the stuff that you want to be.
Dr. Chris, you're still in my thunder for the next one. You're right on.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're all right. All right. Be around positive people. Being around positive. Dr. Chris, I'm going right back to you. Why is that important, especially for we as Black men, being around positive people?
It's important. What do they say? You're the average of, you know, the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I was reading something, a book, Atomic Habits. It's a good read. And basically, it is. Being around those positive people, that culture, it's that if you want to be, let's say, if you want to be a successful chef, well, you need to hang around other successful chefs because you're going to pick up those habits. That's going to become the norm. That becomes the culture. If you want to be a successful chef, but you're hanging around a bunch of knuckleheads, well, then what? You're sitting here talking about this new sous vide technique. They're going to be like, man, you lame. And it's no, you're not. You're just in the wrong area. So it's very important to surround yourself with like-minded, positive people who are doing what you want to do, so you can learn from them. And then you feel comfortable being in that environment. Like I said, the habits that lead to their success become the norm. So that's why it's important.
I love it. Dr. Curtis, I want to throw a different one at you. Relaxing more. Why is that imperative? And I love that you're saying grounded and meditation, because I put all that kind of in that relax. Why is that so imperative for us to learn how to relax? And I'm going to even push the envelope a little bit more and learn how to meditate.
Right. So there's 3. What I find is there's 3 components to having optimal health and wellness. That's rest, relaxation, and sleep. Let me say that again. Rest, relaxation, and sleep. What I find is most of us are not clear on the difference between rest and relaxation. Right. Exactly. So rest, and I'm not just talking semantics here. Rest is when the body is immobile. You're not asleep, but you're not necessarily moving, right? But relaxation, you quite frankly could be running or working out. Relaxation in and of itself is a deliberate intention to manage stress and anxiety. So when we educate one another on these different ways of seeing it different, then we could just put them to use. You could be dancing as a form of relaxation, right? You could be running, you could be at the gym, you could be doing a number of things, DJing, right? Relaxation is the deliberate intention to manage stress and anxiety.
Yes.
But you don't have to be stress and anxiety. It's not that you do it as a result of, like, you in front of the stress and anxiety, you know life is going to do.
Yes. And you picked up on the last one of the other ones I was going to talk about getting proper sleep. And I'm going to have you address that, and I'm going to punt that over to Dr. Chris too, because we know that sleep also affects our mental health and well-being. And I love you because you talked about rest, relaxation, and sleep, getting proper sleep. Talk to us, Dr. Curtis.
Oh, is that for me, Brother Martin? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Since you brought it up, and Dr. Curtis talk about it too.
So this is. I mean, sleep is everything, and I mentioned to men, like, okay, say you can't get 7 to 8 hours, you have to become a fan of naps. I took a 2-hour nap today, right? You have to be. I don't care what happens. You may, even if you're working a job, you may have to nibble at your desk and on your lunch break get a power nap and lean your seats back in your car. You gotta get that sleep in. Eat some almonds at the desk, and then at the lunch break, go to the parking lot, lean your chair back, set the alarm on it, and crash out for a power nap. We gotta get sleep. Everything is reset. The consciousness, the body, everything is reset through sleep. Yeah. I don't care. You could be eating right. You could be happily married. You could be in shape. You ain't getting no sleep. Ain't nothing cracking. Ain't nothing happening.
That's right. Dr. Chris, talk to us about, from a physical point of view, why sleep is so important.
So sleep, especially quality, that deep sleep it's restorative. It's where your body repairs. And so I don't care what kind of workout you just put out there in the gym. If you're not getting adequate sleep, you're not repairing. It's called the stress recovery cycle. If you're not recovered, well, then you're not going to be ready for the next dose of stress that you're going to put on yourself in the gym or in life. And so what happens is that if you're not recovered, well, then now you've increased the likelihood that you're going to break down. And and you also end up stifling your gains. I can speak on that firsthand. I remember, going to the gym and, I was getting it in, but I was also maybe getting 4 hours of sleep, and it was really crappy and it was stressful. And my wife was like, "Hey, you need to sleep more." And I said, "You know what? You're right." And I started doing that, and I felt more recharged. And I saw the gains in the gym also improve as well. So that's
good.
It is vital. And for whatever reason, as men, we feel like we shouldn't be resting, relaxing, sleeping. I had a post a while back, and it was like, a lot of men feel like when my wife comes home, I jump up just to look like I can't be seen as just sitting here being lazy, because I don't know if I'm being one of those shiftless Negroes, or it's all about what I do. And it's like, no, your value is who you are, and sometimes your ass needs to recover so you can go do some more.
That's good. Good. Listen, gentlemen, we're almost at time there, but I can't thank you enough for coming on here today and just really reminding us the importance of having this thing called balance and mental health and all that. Dr. Curtis, you are an author. You got to tell us your book. How can we get it? And how do we follow you for those who are just joining us and want to definitely follow you? How do we do all that?
Well, first, I want to thank you, Brother Martin. Dr. Chris, thank you for having me here. I appreciate it. I am easy to find. A Google search, if you forget any of the things, will get you to me. I am on Instagram as I am Dr. Curt, Facebook and Twitter as Dr. Curtis D. Jasper. My website, the base one, is www.drcurtisdjasper.com. It'll lead you to my books. All else fails, the Google site, Amazon, to get you to my books. One of the things that I pride myself on is just being accessible for things like this, partnerships, spreading the good words, connecting with brothers I would not have met without social media in North Carolina and in California is everything to me. And I'm happy to join so that we can spread the good word to the community. So thank you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dr. Curtis, this won't be the last time, brother. I'll be bugging you to come on and doing some stuff, man. I love the work that you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And it's an honor. And thank you for joining us on tonight. Y'all got to go back. Make sure you follow Dr. Curtis Jasper. Make sure you're following him, like him. Y'all know how we do it here on Mental Health Marty. Make sure you also support his product and his book and all these things, because we want to make sure that we are giving back into our communities. And it'll be a great Christmas gift. It'll be great. We need help. And instead of buying those Nikes, instead of buying that Louis, instead of buying that Gucci, let's pour back into us in a way that's going to pay far more dividends than what any of those products could. Dr. Chris, man, we always glad to hear from you. Always glad, man. And Dr. Chris is giving us his radio voice and all that. But how do we follow you, Dr. Chris, and continue to follow the work that you do? Because you have some amazing posts as well that you do some reels on there.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me here, and it's always great to do the work, spread the word, and I love it. And so I love being able to hook up with new people like Dr. Curtis, and it's a blessing. So I get to do this. So you can follow me. I'm on Instagram as Dr. Chris I am on IG, and I also am on TikTok as Dr. Chris on TikTok. So those are the two places that I'm kind of spending the most time with as far as if you want to hook up with me. And I'm very easily accessible. You can shoot me a DM or a message and that sort of thing. I try to be this is me. So what you see is what you get. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, well, not for you.
Hey,
so
right. Listen, brothers, I can't thank you enough. You guys heard it here today with Dr. Curtis and Dr. Chris as we are talking about the importance of making sure, although the trauma can start here and you experience it here, we hold it here. And trauma enters the body one way, and we have to make sure that it exits out in a healthy way. And what both of these amazing doctors have shared with us, the importance of making sure that we remain in motion, that we remain getting the exercise and going to the gym and walking and meditating and feeling the grass and feeling the ocean water come across that's what we do here on the West Coast. Make sure that cold Pacific Ocean hits our toes and shocks and wakes us up. But again, we don't ever want to leave you without any tools to make sure to support you along your mental health journey. So if you're experiencing a crisis, you can always text crises to 741-741. Some other resources that we like to leave with you today: Psychology Today, Therapy for Black Men, Good Therapy, Marcel Consulting, as well as dialing 988 if you're experiencing any type of mental health crises. What I love about these other websites is it does allow you to look for the therapist and read their information to see if they accept insurances or do any type of sliding scale if that is what you definitely need. I want to invite you to join me on October 30th. If you're in the downtown LA area, I'm back at Black on the Block. Last month, I was the only mental health provider there. We're going to be back there again, sharing the information about the importance of recognizing, just like Dr. Curtis said, that that we are heard and that we recognize that we are not alone. But in this journey called life, we don't want you to continue to secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame. Why? Because you are heard, you are valued, and you are seen. So as I say each week, we want you to speak up, speak out, and always live. Why do we do those things? So that you can enjoy your life. We'll see you next week. Take care and God bless. See ya.